On this episode of the Kirby on Sports podcast, we will be taking an extensive look into this past weekend of NFL action. With only 2 weeks left in the regular season, things are starting to heat up. I will also take a look into JMU and their new head coach coming up for this next season, and the two teams now fighting for the national championship in Frisco, Texas. All that, and even one of my great rants coming up. So stay tuned, people.
Indeed, I'm glad you connected. This is Dave Johnson, voice of the Washington Wizards. You have connected to the right place because you are listening to my man, Josh Kirby, on Sports Podcast.
Man, it's a cold one outside. Like probably 5 days till Christmas, CJ? I don't know. But what a better way to spend your holiday season than with us on episode 18 of the Josh Kirby on Sports podcast. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Christopher James Mintier. CJ, what is going on, buddy? You have a lot to talk about. You were club level at the Pittsburgh Steelers game. Man, you must have loved that game.
Yeah, it wasn't as cold as it is right now because I could tell you something could cut diamonds right now, but that's besides the point. We're going to get right into it, Josh. Let's talk some sports.
All right, so first up on the list, we have an extensive look into this week's podcast.
A lot more.
With only 2 weeks left, the playoff race, the playoff push is getting deeper and deeper and deeper. So let's start off with the 11-3 Chargers upsetting the Kansas City Chiefs on Thursday Night Football. Yes, that CJ called, and the Chargers are in first place. And
correction, they're not. They're actually still in the wild card.
Oh, they aren't?
Yes.
I thought you told me they were in first
And
place.
I was completely wrong because I'm an idiot a lot of the time, but
Yeah,
that's
you
besides
are.
the point. Okay. We're really going to... You want to fight on here, Josh? Okay. No, they're in fifth place just because the Chiefs have a better division record, but continue.
Okay, yeah, thank you for clearing that up. So I didn't sound like an idiot. So it came from CJ first. But anyways, the Chargers decide at the end of the game to go for the win and not the tie. And great calling because the Chargers could have probably made it to the playoffs anyways if they lost that game. But they decided to go for the win and not the tie. And great play calling by Anthony Lynn there. I
called it, though, Josh, didn't I? I'm 2-0 when I'm calling these upset picks right now.
Yes, sir.
The Chargers, Mike Williams. Mike Williams, the national champion of Clemson University, had the game of his life against the Kansas City Chiefs.
He did have a great game.
The game of his life, catching 3 touchdown passes and catching the game-winning 2-point conversion catch. I don't know what else to say about him, but he's been phenomenal because last year he was plagued with injuries. He didn't really get as much, and it looks like Josh is going to beat me here if I don't keep talking good about the Chiefs. He just pulled out his belt on me, but
no, I'm just trying to relax here. I just got off of work.
But the Chiefs, I said it in the beginning of the season. Yeah, sure, they're stellar, but when the push comes to the playoffs, I don't think they have what it takes to make it into the playoffs. Because guess what you got to do in the playoffs?
Defense wins championships.
Defense, you got to run the football. And what did the Chiefs do in this game? Well, it says down there that they have double-digit yardage, but yeah. So
119 yards.
No, that was for the Chargers, Josh. But the Chiefs had 17 carries for 60 yards.
See, I'm an idiot
The
here.
Chargers amassed over 400 total yards of offense compared to only 294 to the Chiefs. Kareem Hunt not only screwed himself this year, guys, he screwed over his team. He really did. And the Chiefs absolutely could have won a Super Bowl with Kareem Hunt as their running back. They can't do that anymore. But what people need to understand about these Chargers, when you're playing them, the game is never over. I learned that against Pittsburgh. If you go up 23-7 in the first half, when you go into halftime, the game ain't over. Because the Chargers, you can wake up thinking that you're happy and checking your phone at 4:30 a.m. and you want to throw your phone against the wall because you find out that they lose to the Chargers. But the Chargers, 11-3, they clinched a playoff spot. There's no question about that. But they are not in first place of the division. But I'm calling my other upset this week. Seattle is going to beat Kansas City this weekend because they're on primetime football in Seattle on Sunday night. I'm calling Seattle to bring the upset, and I am hoping on Saturday that the Chargers will beat the Baltimore Ravens. Please beat the Baltimore Ravens, because if you guys do that, you guys will be in first place, and Baltimore will be done for the season, and we can all live happy ever after. So.
Baltimore done for the season? Lamar Jackson's been playing great, though. You got to admit that. If he can come in place of Joe Flacco and take the team to the playoffs at least.
But that's what I'm saying about the Ravens, is that I don't want them in the playoffs, mainly because I'm a Steelers fan.
Oh, yeah.
But they aren't going to last long in the playoffs. They just aren't. Lamar Jackson, do you really think that he can handle the pressure of the playoffs, Josh?
Just like RG3 tearing his ACL.
And it probably could happen. So
hopefully it doesn't, though.
No, absolutely not. Wish no harm on them. But the Chargers, 29-28 over the Chiefs. And now, only 2 weeks left in the season. Kansas City is going to finish off with Seattle and Oakland. So we all know that last week is a gimme for the Chiefs. But this upcoming week, I'm calling the upset.
Was it a gimme when the Steelers came to Oakland?
I'm about to grab that belt there, Josh.
Yeah, it wasn't a gimme. You talked about it, but, it's never a gimme. But Saturday football. We're getting into Saturday football. You miss your college football, you can watch 2 NFL games on Saturday. The Browns.
Games, yeah.
The Browns. Man, they looked really good beating the Broncos by a point. CJ, are the Browns in the playoff hunt now?
Yes, they are. The Browns are officially in the playoff hunt. Wow. Greg Williams, I hope he gets a chance. I hope that John Dorsey...
Former Redskins coach, by the way.
Yes. I hope John Dorsey will see through it and say, Greg, we want to hire you as the head coach because you turned this season around for us. Because when Hugh Jackson got fired, we basically just had to tie up loose ends and see if we can get through the season. But Greg Williams came in and said, hold my beer. I'm going to turn this thing around. And he did. And I hope that he will get a chance because at being the head coach, or at least getting a head coaching job, because he's clearly made this season into a win-win situation with everything that has happened. On the other side of the ball, though, the Broncos, Vance Joseph, he made some questionable calls in that game. Going for the field goal instead of going for the lead there late in the fourth quarter.
What do you have to lose?
Right, ask the Chargers. So, most notably, going for the field goal instead of taking the lead. What, you don't think that you have a chance against the Browns? I know you have an injury-plagued team, but come on, Vance. If you want to keep your job, you're going to have to make some gutsy calls because you're not making the playoffs. The 2 AFC West teams have already clinched the playoffs. You're done. You're done for the season. So why not go for the lead? Why not? A stat to take care of, though, was Von Miller. He becomes the Broncos' all-time sack leader, beating Simon Fletcher, beating the record of 103.5 sacks. Wow. 103.5 sacks.
That's amazing.
But what happened to Philip Lindsay this game? What happened? He was all over the Steelers a couple weeks ago. They were able to run the football so very well. But total, they had 32 yards rushing. 20 carries, 32 yards. Cleveland, Nick Chubb is a fantastic running back this year. 20 carries, 100 yards. 28 total carries, 134 yards for the Browns. In the biggest play, Nick Chubb broke off a 40-yard run at the end of the game to break the tie, basically. Denver, what are you doing here? If you want to beat the Browns, guess what? Check another one on the list because the Broncos, you just lost to the Browns. No offense.
Yeah, in this game, I really like what Baker Mayfield did. I think he's going to do great things for the Browns. I just
We've
thought...
been saying that for a while, yeah.
Yeah, I just thought he would be...
It is premature for me, though, Josh. I will say that, because
Yeah.
we all said that about Dak Prescott.
Yeah, but I mean, I thought Baker would be like Johnny Manziel because his attitude was sort of like the same in my mind. But yeah, you know, Baker is doing well, and hopefully he won't be part of the quarterbacks who got ruined in Cleveland.
Well, the big difference for me about Johnny Manziel, he was not a good football player. He just was not.
I'm talking about his attitude in general.
Okay, but that is the difference between Johnny Manziel and Baker is that
Yes.
Johnny is not a good football player and Baker is. He led his team to the Rose Bowl. What did Johnny Manziel do? Lead him to a bowl game against Duke? Congratulations. Like, Baker Mayfield is a football player, and he is built for it, and he has the mindset. What does Baker Mayfield do on his days off? He studies film. He doesn't go party out in Vegas like Johnny Manziel does. That's the difference between those two.
Yeah, so I like what Baker's doing, and I hope he can be the answer for the Browns in years to come as the starting quarterback, and hopefully the Redskins can pick up Tyrod Taylor or somebody. I don't know. But moving right along from the Browns' 17-16 win over the Broncos, CJ, the Monsters of the Midway are back.
The NFC North champs. I think my dad cried on Sunday because he was very happy to see his Bears win something because it had been 8 years since the Bears had won their division or made it to the playoffs since the first time since 2010. I'm telling you, though, the Bears are the scariest team to deal with at the moment. You don't want to play against Chicago in the playoffs. I don't care if you're in New Orleans. You do not want to play against Chicago. You do not. The only thing I'm going to say about Chicago, can Trubisky elevate a little bit more? Can he do it? Mitchell Trubisky played good. 20 of 28, 235 yards and 2 touchdowns. Aaron Rodgers, 25 of 42, 274 yards and an interception. Did Green Bay establish a run game? No, they didn't. 19 carries, 88 yards total. Neither did Chicago, though. 29 carries, 97 yards. Jordan Howard, 19 carries, 60 yards, and a TD. But what did I tell you, Josh? This wasn't going to be
They got their payback.
This wasn't going to be a good game for the Packers. And Aaron Rodgers threw his first interception in over 400 attempts passing. He only has 2 interceptions on the season right now, Josh, and one of them's against Chicago. So I told you this was not going to be a good game for the Packers because they watched that film and remembered week 1 of the season and said, guys, we were a brand new team back then. We can't keep looking on that. We got to go out there and play our game. And so what are we going to do? We're going to allow Khalil Mack to sack Aaron Rodgers with his back.
That was funny. I saw the video of that.
So that's the type of game it was for the Packers, and they knew it's like, well, if I get sacked by not getting tackled.
I wonder if that was on
lose.
Come On Man on Monday night.
I doubt it. It was just a great play. But I'm telling you, I haven't seen my dad be this happy in a while. And he's a Bears fan. But
he's also a Patriots fan.
He's a Tom Brady fan. He's not a Patriots fan. He's been a Bears fan. Look behind you. He's got Bears memorabilia everywhere. He's been a Bears fan ever since a little kid. And this is a great thing to have because they haven't been able to play defense in a long time. So the Bears, 24-17 over the Packers. They're the number 3 seed right now. We're about to get into the number 4 seed here in a sec. But the number 3 seed, the Bears, if the Rams lose this weekend and the Bears win, guess who gets the tiebreaker into the number 2 seed?
The Chicago Bears. Jinx, you owe me a soda.
Again, dang it. All righty.
Hey, moving right along to the Cowboys, and I could not be happier reading this score. The Colts, Andrew Luck, 16 for 27, 192 yards. Not the best game.
Not stellar at all.
Not stellar, but on the ground for the Colts, 39 carries, 178 yards. Ezekiel Elliott, 18 carries, only 87 yards. That's your difference right there. The Colts shut out the Cowboys. Let's go. Yeah, I'm a Redskins fan. I'm glad to see this team shut out the Cowboys. And ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the famous CJ Mintier sports rant.
The Cowboys out here dropping donuts out here. One of two teams to drop donuts this week. What'd I tell you? You guys are so overrated, it's not even funny. You guys literally got to this game after being so famous the past 2 weeks. Oh, we won 2 games in Jerry's World. We're so good. We're going to go on to the Super Bowl. Skip Bayless was jumping out of his shoes. This is the best Cowboys team I've ever seen. And guess what? You got punched in the mouth. That Colts offensive line punched you in the mouth. And this offensive line, this is what an organization does. You know what this team, the Colts, reminds me of? It reminds me of Dallas. It reminds me when they used their draft picks to form an offensive line to protect Andrew Luck and Marlon Mack. 27 carries, 139 yards. Your so-called famous defense, huh? Number 4 against the run, aren't you? Yeah, well, you just let up a triple-digit yard rusher against Marlon Mack. Who the hell is that? You gotta be kidding me. You guys are nothing without Jerry's World. Congratulations. You probably have one of the easiest endings to the season, though, because you got Tampa Bay and then New York. I would give New York a good shot, but Tampa Bay, I don't trust them to beat you guys. Oh my God, you guys got an easy schedule into the playoffs. But guess what everyone's going to remember? The big old fat donut that you got on the scoreboard against the Colts. And everyone's also going to remember Ezekiel Elliott yelling on the sideline to his players. Everyone's going to remember that. Because guess what? The Cowboys, you're dysfunctional. And guess what? Where's this so-called defense? You guys allowed 178 yards rushing. You guys didn't do anything this game. Your offense, that just shows how bad your offense is. And as I said, premature with Dak Prescott. At the beginning of the game, they went for it on 4th down. Why do you not kick a field goal at the beginning of the game? Why do you stay aggressive? You're away from your home. You're not in Jerry's World. Why do you not kick the field goal and at least get on the board? Because we have a good defense. Yeah, you have a good defense, but you still got 60 minutes to play in the game. 23-0 over the Cowboys. The Colts are victorious, and they're still in the playoff hunt here, boys. Congrats, though, because here's the scenario with Dallas. If you guys lose to Tampa and New York, that means Philly gets the playoff division spot. They're still in the wild card spot. But that means that they win the division, and you guys would technically have to go on the road to Philly. And my God, they will remember the game that they had against them, against you guys back a couple weeks ago. That's my rant there, Josh. Dropping donuts out here the Cowboys are doing. Not even giving me enough content to give a rant because you dropped a donut on the scoreboard.
Oh, man. What a great rant. And we're just going to leave it at that. The rants are the best, so we're just going to leave it at that. Moving right along here.
Congrats, Josh.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. The Redskins 16 and the Jaguars 13 as the Redskins have a last 2-minute drive down into field goal territory and beat the Jacksonville Jaguars with a game-winning field goal. What I got to say here, Josh Johnson, the 4th starter this season for the Redskins. He came out, he had a pretty good game. 16 for 25, 151 yards and a touchdown. Not the best-looking game, being that the Redskins injury bug has hit them like a train wreck. Our Nick Sundberg, our long snapper, is on IR now. They had to sign somebody 24 hours.
How does a long snapper get injured, man? You're out there for 7 plays, man. That's all you are.
Yeah, I mean, our new long snapper got signed 24 hours before the team loaded the plane to Jacksonville.
How about that?
But the thing about this, I noticed that the Redskins were fighting for Josh Johnson. He has been playing well, and he gets his first win as a starter in Washington. So I'm really happy for him, and I think the team just fought behind him to get the win. I saw a change that I didn't see before in the Redskins, and I really don't know what it was, but their attitudes have changed because of this, and I'm just glad the Redskins got this win. Get out of the losing streak, but we're still in the hunt for the playoffs.
No, you guys can't be.
Yes, we are.
What?
If the Redskins win out, what I was told, if the Redskins win out and the Vikings lose one game, we'll be in the wild card. I'm not sure if that's true, but if that happens, I'll be surprised because the Redskins have been through a lot this season. But another thing I loved, Jay Gruden stuck with Adrian Peterson towards the end of the game, got us down in field goal range to win the game. They did not abandon the run. But Adrian Peterson only 19 carries for 51 yards. Most of that was towards the end of the game. Josh Johnson using his legs 9 carries for 49 yards. So, pretty good. Jacksonville, 26 total carries for 172 yards. And I mean, the Jags, I thought this was going to be a field goal game. But the Redskins overcame the challenge and ended up beating the Jags. So next week, Saturday, a Saturday game in Tennessee.
That's not good for you.
I don't know.
Because Tennessee is still fighting for their playoff hopes. They still are.
Yeah, but more Redskins news. Monte Nicholson gets arrested in one.
Who?
One of our safeties, Monte Nicholson, gets arrested in one Loudon for an assault of another couple, I believe. Him and a female assaulted another couple.
Oh, it's assault? So they'll keep him. It's okay. They'll keep him. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but, oh my gosh. Just more controversy.
You win a football game, time to go beat some people up, I guess.
Oh, my. But... yeah, just some news to share with you. Don't have all the details, but Monte Nicholson gets arrested. So just some more controversy to add to this Redskins season. Moving on, the Vikings. They finally use the run game. Their offensive coordinator, they needed that switch because that run game looked like a totally different team. And they beat the Dolphins 41-17.
Well, we'll get into this a little bit later about how teams, they get a little behind and they get a little frustrated. But yeah, John DeFlippio, he gets fired, and the Vikings put up 41 points. What in the world just happened here? I still don't trust Kirk Cousins, though, man. I don't. The Vikings are good at home. They are. And with all the weapons that these guys have, how are they 7-6-1? You got Adam Thielen, Stephon Diggs, Dalvin Cook. You got Kyle Rudolph. You got Latavius Murray. You have so many weapons at the offensive side. And your defense, we all know, can play. How are you guys 7-6-1 right now? You guys, though, hey, you shut everybody up about Miami. Hey, we're going to the Super Bowl. We just beat the Patriots on the last play of the game. Only we score 17 and get 41 dropped on our heads. But yeah, you were right. The run game was huge in this game. It happened against the Patriots. Dalvin Cook was great against the Patriots when they played him. They just abandoned it, though. They only lost by 7 points to the Patriots. Dalvin Cook, 19 carries, 136 yards, and 2 tutties. Latavius Murray, 15 carries, 68 yards, and a tutty. The Vikings held the Dolphins to under 200 yards of total offense. The Patriots, we'll get into this later, they couldn't even stop a fly in the room when they played Miami. Ryan Tannehill, only 108 yards passing. Kirk Cousins, he was 14. He only threw the ball 21 times. This is perfect. Establish the run game. Nice job, Vikings. You dropped 41 on the team that was supposed to go to the Super Bowl because they beat the Patriots. Congratulations. But as I said before, I still don't trust Kirk Cousins. You're still in the playoff hunt. They still are. But since Minnesota, I just don't trust him with Kirk Cousins even into the playoffs. Maybe you as a Redskins fan and a former Kirk Cousins fan can attest to this. Do you trust?
I think he's been playing worse than he did for Washington.
Really?
I don't think Kirk Cousins. I don't recall Kirk
Cousins.
Oh my gosh, I am sorry, but Kirk Cousins. I don't recall him winning a big game for Washington ever, like a big name team, like the Seahawks and the wild card.
Okay.
I mean, the Cowboys, when he was there, he couldn't beat the Cowboys. Really? And, those are the games you got to win, the big games. You win against teams that aren't that good, but I think Kirk Cousins has a lot of work to do. But, don't get me wrong, he has a good quarterback. I did like him in Washington, but he still needs some work.
Yeah. Is he worth $84 million? Not to me, he's not.
Yep, not to me either. He should have stayed in Washington, but no. All right. Next game for you here as the Vikings beat the Dolphins 41-17. CJ, what happened to the New York Giants?
Well, I'm surprised because 1 week ago they dropped 40 points on the Washington Redskins, and we all know how good that team is. So, what happened here? What happened here? You dropped 40 points to dropping another donut against the Tennessee Titans, who, as we have said multiple times on this show, are very inconsistent. They play down to their opponent most of the times. They're just like the Pittsburgh Steelers a lot of the time. They play down to their opponents. This still speaks volumes, though, about when these teams get behind in the games. What do? They abandon the run game. You're only down 17-0. That's a 3-score game. Why are you abandoning the run game when you have... Continue.
Let me ask you something. Why did Saquon Barkley get the ball 14 times?
Well, you interrupted me, so I was going to say that next, okay? Stop yelling at me, Josh. Yeah, he only got the ball 14 times, and that's why I'm saying, why do you go away from your best player? He clearly proved it against the Redskins. He's clearly proven it against the Eagles. He's clearly proven it against everybody. He's going to be the Offensive Rookie of the Year. He's already got a Pro Bowl vote. Why is it that you guys give him the ball 14 times? I have to give credit, though. The Titans do have a good defense. But you don't give your best player 14 times. And this also speaks volumes to me, Josh, that you guys trust Eli Manning way too much when he is old as dirt right now. He threw the ball 44 times for 229 yards and an interception. That doesn't really tell me that you're trying to catch up. But once again, though, you got to give credit to these Titans, man. You got to give credit to them. Their run game, oh my God, it's scary. Derrick Henry, where were you last year and this year before these past two games? Where were you? The Titans offense, 45 carries, 215 yards. Derrick Henry, 33 carries, $170. That's almost over 400 rushing yards right now in 2 games, Josh. Two tutties as well. The Titans, hey, their playoff hopes are still alive. Let's look at the difference here, though. Marcus Mariota only had to throw the ball 20 times. He got 88 yards. Manning, 44 times. And he amassed 229 yards. Giants, you drop a donut. What happened? Why is it that these teams out here, you guys get nervous and you guys don't just stick to your game plan? It's just like what my brother tells me with Coach Hall. He gets all out of whack every single week with these new game plans. Stick to the game plan, and you guys will beat a team when you guys have a good team. What's the New York Giants game plan? Hand the ball to Saquon, pass the ball to Saquon, see if we can get Saquon out in the open. Saquon. Nope, it's only give him the ball 14 times and let Eli Manning, our Hall of Fame quarterback who's fallen off these past couple years trying to win the game. Well, guess what happened? You drop a donut, and the Titans win 17-0 over the Giants. And we just gave them praise last week, Josh. It's the best team in the NFC East. We just gave them praise. Why does this happen to us?
I do remember that. Why did we give them praise?
How could we?
Hey, CJ, I'm going to let you take care of this 17-10 win Steelers over the Patriots because you were there. But one thing I have to say, Patriots special teams, wow, you dive into the end zone twice, and you get a touch. You don't get a touchback. You down it inside the 5.
Down at the 1, actually.
Oh my goodness!
Okay.
But CJ, your Steelers, since you were there, take it away, my good friend.
Okay. Well, first, before I get into the stats and the how I felt about the game.
Yeah, tell
Let's
us.
go! The Steelers won! We finally beat the Patriots, finally! The last time we beat them was 7 years ago. It took us 7 years to beat them. 7 years. I'm going to say it again. 7 years it has taken us to beat Tom Brady. Okay, now that that's out the way, yes. I had a great trip up to Pittsburgh. Had a long walking distance of about 30 feet from the stadium, so in a parking garage, but it was awesome. Got club seats, was inside, and once Renegade came on in the stadium, that was the loudest I've ever heard that stadium because we had the lead on Tom Brady with 2 minutes left, and we all know what that means. Tom Brady's about to make something happen. That final drive, I witnessed that the Patriots are not the same team as they were these past couple years. Tom Brady, I don't want to say he's fallen off a cliff just yet. I don't. Because Tom Brady, I still like Tom Brady. He's the greatest quarterback that ever lived. And he was making some forcible throws. Tom, what are you doing? That's what Ben does. Don't be like Ben. But he was making some forcible throws because guess what? Rob Gronkowski had 2 catches. 2 catches. You know how many catches he had last year against us? 9. He was torching us last year. And he was forcing some throws in this game, and all I could think of is, what is going on here? And then the interception that Tom Brady threw, why? Why would he force that over the right side? It looked like he was trying to throw it away, but then at the end, no, Joe Hayden makes a fantastic play. There were 2 offensive players around him, and he still made the interception. Ben Roethlisberger, though, I kept saying this the entire game to my brother. If you let the Patriots hang around, they will destroy you, and they will make you pay. And that's what happened in this game. We went up 14-7 in the first half. We went to half 14-7. We should have been up 28-7. I'm telling you. Ben threw 2 interceptions this game that were forced throws, that were bad throws that he tried to force into good receivers. And Chris Boswell missed another field goal. It was like a 33-yarder, and the whole place was just quiet until he nailed a 45-yarder to take us up 7 points. But we gave the Patriots so many opportunities, and this is why I'm saying the Patriots are not the same. Because we gave them so many opportunities to score, and yet they just could not do it. I got to give credit to our defense because they made it happen. Of course, though, the Patriots also beat themselves in a lot of this game. There were a lot of dropped balls that were wide open passes to players, and they just straight up dropped them. The Patriots, they scored within 5 minutes of the game starting on a wide open wheel route by Chris Hogan. That was it. That's all the Patriots scored on. And then finally, Jalen Samuels, thank you. Because 142 yards rushing, I was in awe watching just the gaps that were opened on that Patriots defensive line. That were just, what is wrong with the Patriots run defense? Because they are looking slow, and this is against a practice squad running back who's filling in for James Conner, who's filling in for Le'Veon Bell. We won't get into that, but
we've already gotten into that.
Jalen Samuels, 19 carries, 142 yards. I can't thank him enough because establish the run game. We did this game and established the run game. It worked against this Patriots team because Ben, he only threw the ball 24 times. That's good. That's very good. To be honest, I'm surprised that the Steelers won, though, because of how many chances we gave the Patriots. But am I happy? Of course. Steelers, 8-5-1, are going to have to play New Orleans this weekend. And to be honest with you, I'm not too thrilled about it because we might get James Conner back, we might not, but I don't think we have the chance to beat New Orleans because it'll be in New Orleans. But my Steelers win 17-10 over the New England Patriots.
Pretty great game, right?
Yep.
Yeah, club seats. You can't beat it. Moving right along, I knew it from the beginning. Nick Foles coming in for Carson Wentz, and there it is. 30-23, the Eagles beat the Rams. I totally expected this because the Eagles have a great talent on this team. When your starting quarterback goes out, you have a backup quarterback who won the Super Bowl for you all. So if you thought, Nick Foles hasn't played in a while, you were wrong. Seriously. The Eagles won this game because they had an experienced quarterback under center, and they got the job done.
I'd completely disagree with you, Josh. Because,
of course you do.
Because the Rams, and number one is this. The Rams basically took this game as a cleanup game, and they did not realize that the Eagles were still fighting for their playoff
Yes,
hopes.
that is true, too.
And another thing is that this is the question that I wanted to ask you is why in the world is it when Nick Foles comes in, the run game is there, but when Carson Wentz is in, it's all about Carson Wentz. That is the big thing to me is that when Carson Wentz is in, I think Doug Peterson holds him back. I really do. When Nick Foles is in, it's like, okay, Nick, we're going to take the pressure off of you a little bit. We have a good duo of running backs in Smallwood and Adams, and they can take the pressure off of you. When Wentz is in, all right, Wentz, it's your game. We got you everywhere we go. And on top of that, did you ever notice in this game that Alshon Jeffrey was an Eagle? Did you ever notice that? Because when Carson Wentz is the quarterback, all I notice is that Zach Ertz is an Eagle. That's all I notice. But in this game, Alshon Jeffrey was big, like really big. Why is that? I don't know. And it's maybe because Doug Peterson holds him back, I still think. Because he's not making those deep throws down the field. Alshon Jeffrey, he's your deep threat. 6'5", he's your deep threat. And I don't get it. The Eagles, though, your defense just held one of the powerhouses in the NFL to 23 points. And the other question is, why is Todd Gurley not getting the ball again? I ask this again. When you get behind, why do you panic? And why do you guys just go away from the run game? You have an MVP candidate in Todd Gurley, and you go away from the run game. Why? Why is that? You guys have one of the best running backs that we've seen in probably the past 5 years come into the league, and you guys go away from him. And then, as I said, the Eagles, they didn't care that they were playing the LA Rams. They were 13.5-point underdogs. Guess what I just said there? Underdogs. That means that they don't care. Because guess what they were going into the playoffs last year? Underdogs. That's what they've been their whole time with this team. And so they don't care who they're playing. They're going to go out there and ball out. And they just beat the 11-2 Rams to make them 11-3 in LA. I was shocked. Me and Patrick were sitting at the bar and we were like, what is going on here? The Eagles are winning in LA. How is this happening? And I thought of it. It's because the Rams thought that this would be an easy game. It's like 13.5-point favorites. Why do we need to care? The Rams, though, you guys have another easy schedule to finish out the season. You got Arizona and San Francisco to finish out the season. But if one of those teams can shock you, oh boy, that means Chicago, on top, and you have to go to Soldier Field, boy. But the Eagles, 30-23, my man Josh. 30-23.
Yeah. Yep. That's all I have to say. I'm glad.
Thank you for your insight there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm just glad another NFC East team lost. But I just have to say, Nick Foles.
Another NFC East team lost.
Yeah. The Giants, the Cowboys, and the Eagles lost last week, and the Redskins won.
The Eagles didn't. What?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. What? I'm sorry. Okay, we're moving on. It's been a long day, but yeah, Eagles won. I don't know. Punch me in the face or something, CJ. But
watch out.
Okay, moving right along here. The Saints almost get upset by the Panthers.
Another division game, though, but I did not expect this.
Yeah, I didn't. I was flipping back and forth, looked at the score. I was like, really? The Saints?
Scored 12. What?
I don't know. I feel like they should have ran the score up on Carolina. Ron Rivera's on the hot seat. I don't know.
Well, in 2 of the past 3 weeks, the Saints have amassed 22 points. You count the 28 in, that's 50 points. In 3 weeks, you guys amassed 50 points? What happened here? Well, I'll tell you what happened. It's time for another one. Why is it that Alvin Kamara, first of all, he got a Pro Bowl snub. What is that? Alvin Kamara gets a Pro Bowl snub? That's why I hate the Pro Bowl. They just pick favorites.
Yeah, Ryan Kerrigan's in.
Who cares? 14 carries, 67 yards. 14 carries, 67 yards. This Panthers defense has one of the worst defensive lines in the NFL. Why are you guys not running the ball more? I know they have the general, probably the best middle linebacker in the league in Luke Kuechly. But why are you not running the ball with Mark Ingram again? 26 carries between the both of you. And you guys, I'm getting mad now, Josh. I'm getting mad because this is ridiculous. This Panthers team has lost 6 in a row now. 6 in a row, and you only beat them by 3 points. Cam Newton is literally playing with one shoulder, and it's not his throwing shoulder. And now the Panthers came out today saying that Cam Newton will sit out the rest of the season. And just a couple weeks ago, when they were 6-2, I was talking about how good a quarterback Cam Newton was, and now he's done for the rest of the year. Cam Newton, 131 yards passing. It's a shame. Because I still hold my opinion true that he's a good quarterback. But the Saints, 12-2, the road to the Super Bowl still comes through New Orleans. And they have to play the Panthers again in the final week of the season in New Orleans.
Wow, that's short.
I don't get these NFL schedules. The Bears played the Lions one week, went on another week, and then played the Lions on Thanksgiving. I don't get the NFL schedules.
I feel like the division games should be spaced out a lot more.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
There's not really much to say on this game, Josh, except what has happened to these offenses? Oh, it's December football, people. They have figured out your offenses. They always will. They always will. Late into the season, teams will figure out your offenses. Oh, we'll just outscore them. No, that ain't going to happen here. That is not going to happen. If you want to make it through the playoffs and through the gauntlet, you got to play defense and you got to run the football. So the Panthers lose. The New Orleans Saints win 12-9 and move on to 12-2 now. Okay, Josh. I think that's enough NFL action for us.
Yep, that was our NFL action. And next week, looking for you, 2 Saturday games for you, the Redskins and the Titans. Wait, is there a Thursday night game? Wait.
No, it's just the 2 Saturdays.
Okay, no Thursday, apparently. Sorry. But the Redskins and the Titans at 4:30, then the Ravens and the Chargers at 8:20. Sunday kicks off for you the Bucs and the Cowboys, the Patriots and the Bills, the Browns and the Cincinnati Bengals. again. Hugh Jackson in the
Coming back to sit, and it's in Cleveland.
Oh.
It's in Cleveland.
Yeah, I wonder if Baker will diss him again. The Eagles and the Texans. The Giants and the Colts. The Packers and the Jets. The Jags and the Dolphins. The Minnesota Vikings and the Detroit Lions in a NFC North battle. The Falcons and the Panthers. The Bears and the 49ers. Los Angeles against Arizona. 425 slate for ya. Your Steelers and the Saints. And Sunday Night Football, Kansas City and the Seahawks. And Monday night, the Denver and Oakland. That's Week 16 looking in for you. Moving on here. CJ, I know you have a little bit to talk about the new acquisition, JMU Football, with their new head coach, Kurt, and I won't even begin to pronounce his last name. Signetti.
Yes.
Not that hard.
Yeah,
But-
it's not that hard. But yes.
Tell me about it, CJ.
Well, Signetti, he comes from another CAA foe in Elon University. The only one of the CAA foes to beat us this year in our home stadium, which hurts a little bit, but it means he knows how to play against us. Signetti, though, I'm happy with this pick. I really am, because Signetti is just like a Mike Houston, and he also has a national championship ring from Alabama. He was a coach at Alabama back in 2009 when they won the national championship. He was able to recruit great players. He has a great coaching resume, and the biggest thing for me is he's a Mike Houston. He turned around Elon. Elon had 6 losing seasons before Signetti came there. 6 losing seasons. I think they won 25 games in those 6 seasons. And the last season before we beat them, they were 2-9, but they had a good defense. I keep saying that. They had a good defense. But then when Signetti comes in, turns their first season into an 8-4 record, and their offense is very good. Turns around their offense, gets a good team going. Then this past season, turns them into another playoff team, wins 6 games. So Elon, 2 playoff seasons in his first 2 years going there. And let me say this, and people are asking, like, why would he choose JMU? It's like a lateral move. Why would you go to another FCS school? Because JMU football and JMU is a lot different than Elon University. Elon is a very small private school. Their football program, their facilities is nothing compared to what JMU facilities is like. It is not. If you've ever been down 81 seeing JMU in Harrisonburg, Virginia, it's one of the most beautiful campuses you'll ever see. And so that's a big factor in why he chose this. Mike Houston, he came from the Citadel to JMU. It's an FCS school. And guess what he did at the Citadel? He turned them into a playoff team, turned them into a winning season. And what did he do for us? Put us at a national championship. I'm not saying that that's what Signetti is going to do, but he's the right choice, and he has the same resume as what Mike Houston did. And I'm very happy with this pick, and I can't wait to see what he will do. Because just today we had our first signing of recruits coming in, the early signing period. We did lose some recruits, but we also kept a lot of them because a lot of them said, I'm here for the team, I'm not here for a coach. But that's all I have for you in my college football today, though, Josh. Very short and sweet, because next week we will be picking our teams to win, to go to the national championship, and a look ahead at the bowls. But it's very short and sweet today, Josh.
Yes, that indeed. And any other words for the podcast as you're moving the mic all over the place, making background noise? Unbelievable. But
No, Josh.
good.
I'm just going to kill you after this podcast, though.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. But just one more small point. I saw in the news, Alex Ovechkin is on pace for 71 goals this season. I'm hoping that can happen. The Caps are looking good, and I hope they just keep playing the way they have been so they can get back to where they should be, the Stanley Cup. And I believe that wraps up the podcast today. episode 18 of the Josh Kirby on Sports podcast. Make sure you email us, kirbyonsports@gmail.com, our Facebook at Kirby on Sports Podcast, our Twitter at Kirby on Sports, our brand new Instagram page at the Josh Kirby on Sports Podcast. And we just want to give a huge thanks to Free Forever by Jam Studio on premiumbeat.com for the music, and Dave Johnson for our wonderful intro, as always. From me and CJ and I, we wish you all a very Merry Christmas. Man, Christmas, so close. I can't believe it. It just came up like that, you know? Adulthood, baby. Like, you're not like a kid anymore because you can't just be like, oh, I want to watch Christmas specials all day. You have to work. Adulthood, baby. But me and CJ wish you a very Merry Christmas, and we will be back with you shortly after Christmas. So enjoy your holidays. I'm sure we will. And enjoy the time with your family, whatever you may be doing. And until next time, we say so long from episode 18 of the Josh Kirby on Sports podcast, and we will catch you next week.